Well, that's it. That's our last podcast
Yep,
done.
it is.
So I thought we'd do this episode
Yep.
basically as just looking back at the past 2 years that we've been doing this.
It has been 2 years.
Yeah, I know, and it's been 2 long years.
Yes. I think if I get it timed right, this should be going out on the exact 2 years since we published the first episode.
Yeah.
Online.
Wow.
So for those of you listening to this as an audio, it's also available uncut on YouTube's.
Oh, you're releasing this?
We decided to do it as a video as well.
I'd just like to point out that when you say we decided, this
me.
is the first I've heard of it.
We decided.
Oh god.
So it's going to be uncut. Completely uncut.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that.
This could be very long because we usually record quite a lot of stuff, and Simon then edits it
That's true.
and edits out an awful lot, which may surprise some of you considering the length of some of these podcasts. But he does actually edit out hours worth of us just gibbering and fighting and punching each other.
And getting things wrong. If you ever listen to any of the outtake episodes,
Oh my word! Yes,
that's not even a fraction of the outtakes
See,
I've got.
Simon's the real Genesis fan. I just listen to the band, and so I'll start talking about something. And of course that track was never released, and somebody go, actually, that was released as a single as well, and I'll go, okay, take that out. Sometimes he does, and other times he likes making me sound like an idiot.
I like to improve how I sound.
He does. He cuts all of my best lines out. It is true.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to do this as a. Well, I'm going to interview Simon for a little bit,
Okay.
and just you don't have to sit comfortably. It's not going to be in depth.
Oh gosh.
Yes, this is not like a. So Simon, you tell me.
I'd like to plead the fifth.
You really. This is all your fault. You can't plead the fifth on anything. And then we'll go on to what we've found and discovered, and whether we've enjoyed doing podcasting. And then we'll end with a few questions, which we
Ooh.
can answer. We can ask each other questions.
Questions from the audience.
Well, those two, but also we'll ask each other questions.
Yes.
So let's start off with, this was all your bloody fault. Why did you want to do a podcast? This is a two-part question.
Yes.
And why the bloody hell did you drag me into it?
Well, first of all, I wanted to do a podcast. I listen to tons of podcasts, absolutely tons, and there's a lot of the time. And I think a few people who've written to us have mentioned this in the past. You like to shout at people when they get things wrong or that you disagree with, and it's fun. It's like shouting at the TV.
Which I do an awful lot.
I do an awful lot as well, but it's great, and I really enjoyed it. And there's a lot of podcasts around that I've listened to that I thought I could do so much better than that. I once listened to a Doctor Who podcast, and the guy was reviewing Doctor Who whilst at the same time watching the Super Bowl. So every so often he'd be going, yeah, so I was talking about the, oh, look at that. And I was like, why? Why would you even do that? It makes no sense.
That's a little odd.
Yeah. So I kind of thought there's a lot of podcasts out there. Why can't I do one as well? What do I do one about? That was it.
So why did you choose Genesis?
Well, I chose Genesis because I was mulling over a number of different ideas.
What were those ideas, Simon? Do tell us.
Well, I thought maybe we could do some obscure TV shows.
Yes.
So one of the ideas I broached to you was doing Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Yes, we're both big fans of that.
Love that show, and but that's a bit more difficult because you have to be able to record it really the same way we did the commentary on the Three Sides Live DVD. We have to be able to do it
As we're
as
watching
it goes along.
Yeah.
With scheduling conflicts,
We're both so busy.
it makes it a bit difficult to do that. So it needed to be something pre-recorded.
By scheduling conflicts, thank
Yeah.
you. Simon fills in some of the more complicated words for me because I struggle. What he means is Simon's busy and I'm down the pub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it needed to be something we could pre-record and edit and put together. And I thought it would be good to do some music podcasts.
Yep.
Because then it's not just somebody talking for an hour.
But why Genesis?
Because I love Genesis.
You love Genesis.
Genesis is one of my favourite bands.
Yeah.
They've got a big catalogue of stuff, but they are also a band that isn't releasing anything new anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a finite end.
Ah, I see your plan there.
I wanted something that I could do and end. But also it meant there were other things that we could move on to afterwards. So let's take, for example, Muse.
Yeah.
We could do 8 Muse albums, do 8 podcasts about Muse. But then there's nothing else to move on to after that that's kind of related.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas with Genesis, we've got the option we can do Peter Gabriel, we can do Phil Collins, we can do Mike and the Mechanics,
Yeah. We could.
and so on,
Or
nothing.
we could branch off into a similar
Yeah, exactly.
prog rock band.
Exactly. So I like the idea of that, and I was quite influenced by a book called Rush, Album by Album,
Yes.
which basically does what we do, but as a book.
Mm-hmm.
They basically listen to the Rush albums and comment on them each album at a time, and I really enjoyed that.
Because we're both big Rush fans as well.
Exactly. So I wanted something like that. And that's what I was influenced by. And then there's a few other Genesis podcasts that I want to mention.
Okay.
There's Tabletop Genesis.
But the more pertinent question: why did you involve me?
Well, because you're my friend.
I'd just like to point out, contractually, that at the moment I have to agree with that. But this may change. So I'm your friend.
Yeah, and you like similar music to me. And I knew that you hadn't listened to a lot of the early Genesis stuff.
That is true.
And I thought it would provide an interesting contrast to me, who knows a fair bit about it, to you, who doesn't really know anything about it, and hearing stuff for the first time.
You wanted somebody dumber than you.
Yeah, to make me sound good.
Yes.
Exactly. And it worked in spades.
Thank you for that. But, I mean, obviously it works quite well.
Yeah.
Well, I think listening to them, because we listen to them, because we love the sound of our own voices.
Well, I have to listen to them over and over and over again because I edit.
Do. Simon does all the editing. When we first started doing this, well, we'll come into that a bit later, but we did actually, I think I edited the first one, or started to.
We did it here
Yeah.
after we'd recorded each piece.
We did. So I was doing the editing physically, but we were doing that chore together. But now Simon does the whole lot.
Yeah.
I provide some of the sound effects and things,
Yeah.
and help you do some of the research for the background
Yeah.
noises and whatnot. But you do all the actual
I
editing.
put it all together.
He makes us sound good.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
So all the blame goes to him to whatever you think we sound like.
Yeah. If you think it's awful,
It's his fault.
screw you.
If you think it's good,
It's my fault.
it's our fault. Yeah.
What was the question?
Well, basically why you involved me, but I think you've kind of answered that. You
Yeah.
needed somebody dumber than you.
Yeah.
And I like to think I fit the bill. Certainly, I am your long-suffering friend.
You are.
Well, we've known each other for... How long have we known each other now?
Must be
25 years?
93,
93?
93, 94-ish. So
Because
yeah.
I used to run a little sci-fi fan sort of thing
Yes.
for Terry Pratchett called Octarine.
Yeah.
Was the name of the group, and we did a magazine, Tales from the Broken Drum.
Yep.
You were submitting stuff to it, and then I met you. Where was it? It was in a pub.
It was in a pub for... ooh,
Yeah,
Who could have guessed?
And I brought you on board, and we
Yep.
became joint editors
Yes.
of the magazine.
Yes.
Then we had a lot of fun doing that.
we did. And we've not really written anything for a long time.
No, but when
and
we
I
did
kind of
write
wanted
stuff-
to collaborate again.
Yeah, we used to write stories and things between us, and we go, we've got this idea for a story. I'll write the beginning, you write the middle, I'll write the next bit, you write the next bit, and then we put them together, and we could not tell who had written which bit because
Exactly.
we gelled quite well on
Yeah,
that.
we worked quite well together. And that was the other reason for choosing you rather than doing something on my own.
Yeah.
I did release a couple of review podcasts.
I can see you did, didn't you?
But that was more to test how to do the editing and how to do the recording more than anything
Under
else.
what name did you release them?
Mr. Monday.
Yeah.
That's under the Mr. Monday Reviews podcast. There's literally 2 episodes and they're about 10 minutes long each.
Yeah.
But that was literally me testing how to record things, how to edit it, how to upload it, what to do, how to do it all. So that was more of a test than anything else. Don't think I'll ever go back to that, but I might do in the future.
You may do.
Yeah.
We were going to do one for when we went to see Star Wars.
Yeah, we always keep
a
meaning
week
to
ago.
record it, and then
And we
end
never
up,
did.
We end up chatting, and then suddenly realise, oh, we're not recording any of this.
Yeah, we actually just sit there because we meet every Wednesday, go to the pub, and we will just.
Due to the fact.
Yeah, we like to think we're having conversations, but actually we're just arguing with each other
Yeah.
about this week's episode of such and such, or
Yeah.
that film, or that
Sometimes
album.
we're having 2 separate conversations.
Yeah, quite often we
at
don't
each other.
actually listen to each other. We just just shouting at each other in the pub,
Yeah.
which does get us some weird looks sometimes,
It
especially because some of the things we are talking about
Yes.
is outside of the normal range of conversation in a pub. But no, so we meet up every week, and it was during one of these mini sessions that you broached the subject of doing
Yes.
a podcast.
Yeah.
And I initially said bugger off,
Yeah.
and then he asked me again, and I said bugger off more firmly.
Mhm.
And it took quite a while for you to convince me to do this.
Yeah, it did.
Mainly because I couldn't understand why anybody would listen to us. I still don't know why anybody would listen to us. But also, I listened to the odd podcast, but I was not a big podcaster.
Yeah.
So I wasn't entirely sure how to do this.
Exactly. I mean, like I say, still listen to loads and loads of podcasts. I mentioned Tabletop Genesis.
You did?
They're a really good podcast, but they're a bit more straight than us.
Yeah.
They go more into the music and how it's played and everything. A bit more serious than us, although they're quite light with it. And then there's a podcast called Filling Up on Genesis, which similar things. But the thing that annoys me about both of those podcasts, they don't do it in order.
Right, which you would have felt was a prerequisite for doing this sort of podcast.
Yeah. So
You wouldn't do a television show podcast and not do the episodes in order, for example.
Yeah. Although when you do get television show podcasts, there's the Audio Guide to Babylon 5, for example. They do them in order.
Yeah, which is how you would
Which
expect.
is how you do it in that case.
Yeah.
And I don't see why you wouldn't do that for a set of album releases.
Especially when it's a complete set.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they're ongoing.
Yeah. So that annoys me about it. So I wanted to do it in order, going through from the first to the last, which gives you the disadvantage of ending on Calling All Stations for Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do it as a series.
Okay, so moving on to another question.
Yes.
When we started doing this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
did you know how to do it? Did you know how to get the podcast going? Did you know how to propagate it on the internet?
No, I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of googling
A lot of
to find
Googling.
out
Where would
what
we
the
be
best.
without Google?
So exactly, find out the best ways of doing it.
Mm.
So that's why initially these episodes all went out on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd just like to point out that I literally have nothing to do with this. As far as I'm concerned, we record this on the Magic Box, then Simon makes it sound good, and then he sends it in an envelope to people. I don't know how you do it.
No.
I literally have, not only do I not know, I'm not even vaguely interested.
No, exactly.
So I'm quite happy with you doing that.
It's all automatic. Basically, once you can get picked up by iTunes,
Mm-hmm.
every other podcast catching app catches it from iTunes.
Fair enough.
So that's the main thing. Something like SoundCloud is good when you're starting out, but then you have to look at subscribing to SoundCloud. You can only upload, I think it's 3 hours worth of material. So that's why the first initial episodes were released on SoundCloud. And then I'd look for another way of doing it.
Now we'll come on to what we've done with the podcasts in a minute.
Yep.
I'd just like to go on to the tech that we use.
Yeah.
For all those interested out there who might like to know what tech we do use, when we started out, we just had that microphone of yours, didn't we?
Snowball microphone, yeah.
Snowball
which I still
microphone.
have, which I still
Yeah.
use from time to time.
Which is a very good microphone.
Yeah.
But we found that when we were doing it, that it sounded echoey
Yeah.
because we were both using the same microphone.
Yeah, it was kind of in the middle of us, the both of us.
It was.
So we couldn't get close enough for it not to echo.
Yeah, this is the current setup we're using. This is our third setup because we had another setup which just allowed 2 microphones
Yeah.
again, and we again used different microphones to these, didn't we?
Yeah.
And now we're using, for those of you who are interested in the tech, we're going through a Xenix Q1202 mixing desk, which is a very small mixing desk. I think it cost me about 60 to 80
Yeah.
quid, or
Yeah.
might have been more than that, I don't recall.
Yeah.
It fell from the back of a wagon, I think. And we're using, whose microphones are these?
I don't know. Well, they're just cheap ass ones
Oh
from,
no,
from
yeah,
Amazon.
they were actually. They're Behringer microphones. They were very cheap. They were like 23 quid. Sorry, the dog's in here with me. She's on the floor, and she's on the floor. She's been very quiet and very patient. So if you hear an occasional woof or whatever, it isn't Simon going mental. It is the dog. Behringer. They're about 23 quid for a box of 3, and they've been super
They
microphones.
were much better than the other microphones you had, and the other microphones were
Much more expensive.
much more expensive, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, because we did have another set of microphones originally, and they were okay. But then I bought this set for, let's say, off the internet for 23 quid.
Yep.
And they've been absolutely crystal clear. They've
Yeah.
been brilliant microphones.
Really good, really good.
So we're just basically going through this and recording it with Audacity. We have used it for a couple of other
Yeah.
pieces of software.
I've always edited in Audacity because it's easy.
Yeah, we did start off with another piece of software which I had with the last mixing desk I had, and I cannot for the life of me remember the mixing desk.
No.
But the software was so complicated because it was basically a professional setup. And we couldn't even work our way around it.
No.
It was ludicrous.
So-
It did monstrously brilliant things
Yeah.
when you could figure out how to work it. But we were using it for about 4 podcasts.
Yeah, I think we used it for the from the Genesis Live podcast to I think and then there were 3 podcasts.
Sounds about right.
All those podcasts in that period were done on that.
Yeah,
old
I
mixing
don't know what it is, but it's quite obvious which one it is when you look at these sort of things on that. It was red.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the brand.
Yeah.
But it was fine in itself, but we got a bit of hissing from that.
Yeah.
And a bit of a clicking on a
Yeah.
couple of them, which we couldn't get rid of even when we...
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem with the mics or the box, I think. It was just something was interfering with something. We've had no problem with this current setup.
No.
And it works pretty well.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good money. And we
Yeah.
didn't pay that much for it.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to start a podcast, I really would recommend this setup. It's been very easy to use and great results.
Yep. Yep. And that's your buy me a coffee dollars hard at work there.
Yeah. Why did you sign up to buy me a coffee?
Because
Don't get me wrong, we love sponging off other
Yeah.
people, but
it was purely to pay for the website and to pay for the equipment we need.
yeah.
We don't make any money off it, and I'm not ever intending to put anything behind
I
the
was
paywall.
really looking forward to buying that Ferrari.
We could very easily put stuff on Patreon and make people pay for it.
Yeah.
And put extras out there.
Oh,
You
why
know,
would anybody pay for this?
all the mini episodes we've done, all the specials we've done, we could easily say, well, you can't have those unless you subscribe.
But why would you?
But why would you subscribe?
I'm not being
and why
funny,
would
but
we?
we're not that good.
No, well, no, we're not. We're not. And,
We
and why would we
literally
anyway?
are about as amateur as you can get.
Yeah. I'd take advertising.
Oh yeah,
If somebody asks us to do an advert and pay us for that, straight away.
I'm loving it.
But at the same time, I wanted some way of people being able to show their appreciation and help us with.
And it has been. I mean, we haven't made a lot of money, but it has helped towards the funding of the web page.
Yep.
And so thank you so much to all our
Yeah.
listeners who've done that. We really do
100%.
appreciate it.
And if you do want to donate, it's buymeacoffee.com. Search for the Revelation Station.
Yeah.
Everything gratefully accepted.
Everything helps. I
Yeah.
say, if you really want to donate, I have got a favourite Ferrari I want, but I really don't think we're going to get to that level.
No. You can email Gary at revelationstationpodcast@gmail.com, and I'm sure he'll tell you what size Ferrari he takes.
Yeah, yeah. It's to be honest, it's just a medium. I'm fine with a medium.
Are we sure?
Maybe a large. It's just after Christmas we're recording this, and I have. It wasn't only the turkey that got stuffing this Christmas, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And we record here mostly, which is Gary's house.
This is my studio.
This is Studio One.
This is Studio One. Sometimes we do Simon's
Yeah.
house when
Done a couple of
the
episodes
family's
there.
out,
Yeah.
and we get full range of the front room.
Yeah, well, we can move around a bit more then.
This is a bit more cramped. It's my study with my knickknacks
Yep.
and whatnot, and lightsabers and various other accoutrements that keep me entertained and out the wife's way. But yeah, so this is Studio One,
Yeah.
and we occasionally like to go on tour and do Studio Two when it's available.
Yeah.
But most of it's done here. And,
majority of it.
Yeah, I have a my dog stays quiet, and so does the wife. So we're kind of.
It's always
lucky.
edited in Studio Two.
We're quite lucky because our family are quite more than willing to have us disappear for hours on end
Yeah.
and do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
In fact, overjoyed
Yeah,
is
more than happy to get
yeah,
rid of us.
yeah, to get rid of us
Oh,
for
isn't it?
this amount of time.
Yeah.
They have no idea what we do.
They never listen to it.
Never listen
The
to
best
it.
I ever get is a rolled eyeballs.
Yeah, I pretty much. My wife occasionally listens to it, but she likes the intros and the outros,
Yeah.
but isn't interested in Genesis enough to listen to that.
My daughters have listened to a couple of the intros.
Yeah.
They were particularly horrified when I pushed you into hell.
Really? So somebody cares about me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think
for the next few days, they're like, "Why did you push Gary into hell?"
the best question would be why haven't you done it before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did explain that you wrote that.
Yeah. We'll come on to the scripting and that later.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So.
So, let me ask you a question.
Oh.
How do you feel now about Genesis coming to the end of this series of podcasts?
Well, I was going to come onto this later and discuss what we've sort of gleaned from doing this, but I think this is a perfectly good point.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to make this as long as, I mean, what are we, 20 minutes
20
now?
minutes now, yeah.
So already we're rabbiting on.
Yeah.
When we do this, we edit huge chunks out.
This will be about 5 minutes long when I release the audio version.
Yeah.
The video version will be much longer, obviously.
Once he's taken out all of my witticisms and funny bits,
Yeah.
like he normally does, and just put his voice on for like the whole 5 minutes.
And left all your fluffs and outtakes and things. I'll leave those in.
I've told you, the fluffs of the dog. Anything you smell, it's from the dog.
So you say.
Yeah. How do I feel? Well, it's weird because when I started listening to Genesis originally back in the 80s, whatever, I think I started with Duke.
I think you said that, yeah.
And then I listened to albums either side. Bought, I think, Selling by the Pound. Couldn't really get into it because it wasn't Phil Collins and it wasn't the style of music I was listening to. So I kind of stopped listening to it at that point and went, I won't go further back because it's not really my thing, and I've got other bands at the time I wanted to get into, so it was kind of on the back burner. And as time's rolled on, I haven't really got into it. You making me listen to this, and I use the word make quite correctly. I have been surprised by how much I like the early stuff now. Even more than the later stuff.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I love the early stuff now. When I eventually do come around to listen to Genesis again, when it doesn't make me want to retch because I've listened to so much Genesis, it will probably be for the earlier albums. Especially, I was surprised by how much I like the first album.
Yeah. Genesis to Revelations. We said at the time that it
was shocking how pleasant it was to listen to.
It's kind of underrated.
Massively underrated.
Yeah.
It's a great album. There's some absolutely brilliant tracks on there.
Yeah, definitely.
And while it is different to later Genesis, to even sort of Selling Them by the Pound, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But as a standalone album, that is a great album.
It is good.
There's some awesome tracks.
There are. Excellent.
So how have I changed listening to this? I think I've come to appreciate the band a hell of a lot more. I have certainly found a lot more tracks that I really like.
Yeah.
There are some albums which I will probably never go back to listening to again. And again, especially some of the later albums which I had heard, I haven't really changed my mind about which tracks I like.
Yeah.
So there are still some albums which I will skip predominantly over a lot of tracks and just keep to the main ones that I like. But I think my appreciation of the original lineup and the albums that they did has gone off the chart. I love them so much now. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan anyway, so I've not really found anything new.
But
it has reinforced the ones I liked, which I know we're going to talk about in a little bit. So it's kind of solidified the things that I love about the band.
But have you found listening to the albums in order and to such detail because you listen to them again and again and again and again? Has that changed how you look at the band now, or how you look at their music stylings?
Not really.
Right, so that was a waste of time interviewing you entirely.
But not really, because I already liked the band a lot anyway.
But you wouldn't think doing this has changed your opinion in any way?
It's made me like them more.
Okay.
But I already like them a lot. I'd kind of gone out of love with them almost over the years. As you know, as your music tastes change and evolve.
There's so many other bands to listen to.
There's so many other bands to listen to. And I probably hadn't listened to Genesis extensively for a good 10 years before. I'd listened to the odd tracks and albums, and apparently Duke is one of my top 10 albums of the 2010s. But I hadn't listened to them intensively.
Yeah.
So that's what it's brought to me. It's brought me back to that.
And we certainly listen to them intensely.
I mean, pretty much for the last 2 years, listened to nothing but Genesis.
Wow. See, that's the thing. It's been 2 years. Can you really believe it's been 2 years? It really has flown by. I mean, we've done how many actual live album episodes have we done?
Well, we've done 15 album episodes, but when this episode is released, I think this will be our 31st episode.
Wow.
Which, when you look at other podcasts, is a pretty intensive series of podcast, we pretty much had one episode out every 4 weeks, or every calendar month, I should
Yeah.
say, since February 2018.
So if they were paying for this, they'd have got a good bargain,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Well, it depends on what was charged.
No, I think they would have got a bargain anyway.
Yeah. So we have pretty intensively done this for 2 years.
That's only because he's bullied me to do this every month.
Taking, for example, Tabletop Genesis, who I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
they just released, I think, their 34th episode,
Mm-hmm.
but they've been going since 2015.
Yeah.
So we've almost caught up to them in terms of episodes released
And,
in half the time.
yeah.
So it's pretty intensive.
Not that we're bragging.
Not that it's intended to be a brag or a diss.
No, we just when we started doing this, Simon came up with this timetable of one every month, and we have tried to keep to that. So
we've missed
it's
it a
not
couple of times, but
yeah, so it's not like we've tried to beat anybody else. We
Yeah.
just had set in mind that we want to release this every single month.
yeah,
and
trying to give
we've
some
tried
sort of
to do that.
consistency.
Yeah,
Which is why I have released those couple of outtakes episodes when we've not been able to get something out for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
Due
to holidays or
the holidays or whatever, yeah.
sickness.
But it's another reason why I don't tend to promote those on Facebook pages, just because they're stopgaps. They're for people who have subscribed to us and want something new, and they're entertaining enough.
Yeah.
What was the question?
I can't remember. You wibbled on so
I
long
did.
now.
I
yeah,
did.
Yeah. No, I was just asking if your view of Genesis has
Oh,
changed
yes.
since doing this.
Yeah, so it's kind of brought me back to Genesis, whereas before I was still liking them, but not listening to them as much.
So how have you found podcasting?
Interesting.
Was it what you thought it was going to be when we started?
It's a lot more work than I thought it would be.
Really? Did
Yeah.
you just think we were going to sit down in front of a microphone and wibble?
Yeah, literally, I thought it'd be a case of us sitting down in front of the microphone like we are now, recording for half an hour, and then checking to make sure it was alright and putting it out.
Okay. So have you found the fact that it is extra work off-putting, or have you enjoyed the extra work?
No, I've actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the editing process. I like cutting bits and putting them together to make it sound good. So I've even taken things like, I've said half a sentence, and I like the first half is really good, really good performance.
Yes, because you do like listen to yourself, don't you?
I do love listening to myself. And then the second half is kind of a bit washy and I'm not very good. And then later on, the second half of it further down is good, but the first half, so I take those two.
What he actually
Actually,
means is he likes the first half of what he said. The second half sounds stupid, so he's taking it out. But when it comes to me, he takes out the first bit that makes sense and leaves the stupid bit in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's your
Exactly it.
method of
Exactly.
editing.
That's
isn't
how I do it.
Yeah.
That's why I sound so good and all.
And I sound so stupid.
Yeah.
But let's.
But I like the process of editing.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. The Three Sides Live podcast we did.
This week's coming loose.
Yeah, he goes a bit. The Three Sides Live podcast we did was 45 minutes of ramble that didn't go anywhere, that was going off at tangents, talking about one thing and going off and talking about something else, then talking about that thing again.
So like when we're in the pub.
So like when we were in the pub. That was really satisfying to edit because I could edit it and take, right, well, we talk about the track listing there, and we also into a 25-minute coherent podcast.
Right.
That was really satisfying. That was more satisfying than just editing out making mistakes or cutting out a poor performance and putting in the good performance and editing the vocals and things like that. So that sort of thing I found really, really good.
Cool.
I really enjoy. And what about you?
Well, I had no idea what to expect when we started doing this. It has been a lot of work. We'll come on to another subject while I'm answering this because it sort of goes into this.
Yep.
When we started doing this,
Yes.
the first couple, we just did a podcast. We came in, we talked about the album, we moved on.
Yeah. Tried to put a few jokes in, didn't we?
We did, and then we did a couple where we set a scene beforehand.
Yeah.
I think at the Tesco's one or the zoo one.
The zoo. I think
Yeah.
Nursery Crime was the first one where you, I think, suggested we do it at the zoo.
Yeah.
I think I turned up here to record one Saturday morning and you just went, let's do it at the zoo, I've had an idea.
Yes, and then we just basically just
Made it up.
on the day and just added a few sound effects.
Yeah.
Then I went on holiday to Skiathos, I think it was. And while I was out there, I had this idea for a script. And I woke up, it was about 6 in the morning, and I woke up, got out of bed, and I was scribbling away this thing, and much to my missus throwing shoes at me while I was making a noise. But I just had this in my head. And it was a zombie apocalypse thing. And this was ages ago.
This is 18
and I
months
came
ago.
back and I showed Simon, I went, we should do this. And he went, you're an idiot. And I went, no, it's great. We should script it. And then we sort of sat down at the pub and we talked about this. And although we put my zombie thing on the back burner...
Incidentally, that was formed the basis of the Calling All Stations podcast.
Yeah,
same script.
And this was about 2 years ago. About a year and a half
About
ago.
18 months ago.
Yeah. And we sat down and thought, we should script this. Or we should do an intro and an outro.
Yeah.
We have no idea, by the way, whether you guys actually enjoy that.
No.
But we do it anyway because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say I write the scripts, then I pass them to Simon, who makes them funny, and then he passes them back to me, and I take all his jokes out and put mine back in, and he goes back and forth like that for a little bit.
Until one of us forgets which jokes were taken out or put in or whatever.
Yeah, and so we both go, that's funny, that's my joke. No, that was my joke.
Yeah.
No, that was my joke.
No,
so,
I added that in.
So neither of us want to edit it out in case it was our joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just keep back and forthing it until we run out of time and realise we're recording today. As you know, well, we're both creative types. We both have different things going on in the backgrounds that we do ourselves. Both of us like writing. We both like writing.
That's how we first met.
It is indeed. And my style of writing is to sit in the pub and drink heavily, and then suddenly have a eureka moment, and then I simply have to write what I've just thought of. And that's how I write these scripts.
Yeah.
I will sit there and someone will go, have you got an idea yet? And I'll go, no. Yes. And sometimes it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'll just leap up and start writing because it'll just suddenly occur to me. If I don't start writing it, I'll start writing it in my head.
Yeah.
And then I won't write it down because my brain says I've already written it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have to write it, otherwise it doesn't get written.
Yeah.
So so that's why I sometimes leap up at 4 in the morning and start writing stuff. I found it very traumatic doing this because I have to wait for the muse to strike, and I know it's got to strike within a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So there's sort of pressure on my brain's going, I don't want to do any work. And I'm like, you've got to work, brain, work, damn you.
But I think you've done the bulk, I think, of the initial writing.
Yeah.
A few of the scripts have been mine to start off with, and then you've
Yeah.
So the Wind and Wuthering one was one that I came up with.
It did sound there like I was doing all of them. I've done predominantly done
but
them.
you do.
But you
mostly.
have done a couple and started the germ going.
Yeah.
But again, it sits round as it is as an idea for a couple of weeks while we're both going, where does this go?
So I like it when it really starts to flow, when the ideas suddenly start to come. So that time I was stuck on the train, and I was just having all the ideas about the episode that became Invisible Touch, was it?
The thing was, we started off doing these scripts, and they were one-off scripts.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, they started branching out and joining to other episodes.
Yeah.
I don't quite know where that came from or why it started.
It was almost, because we did the Lamb, which was the last one we didn't script.
Yeah.
And then we decided on the holiday business.
Yeah.
The airport, and then the holiday after that. Those worked together.
Yeah.
And then we did, the taking you to hospital, which kind of followed on from that.
It did.
But then it cut off and we were on a cruise.
Yeah.
And then it was the sports trilogy,
as
we called it.
We kind of do them as trilogies, or we call them trilogies. Yeah.
So it kind of went from there, but then it just started to take on a life of its own, didn't it? And the characters...
Well, we call them characters, but they kind of are us.
Yeah.
I mean, I play the angry, irritable guy, and in real life, I'm angry and irritable. And Simon plays this the idiot.
The idiot savant.
The idiot savant, and in real life,
he's just an idiot.
Well, I was going to say just a savant, but we'll go with an idiot.
Yeah.
We haven't really got characters.
They're exaggerated versions of ourselves.
But not that exaggerated. The scripts just took a life of their own. We found as we were writing one, we were ending it, and we knew where the next one was going, because in our minds, or in the pub, we'd already plotted the next one. Well, we're doing this one. We went, but they go together.
Yeah.
We didn't plan them to go together. They were just quite clearly extensions of where we currently were in
Yeah.
these stupid
Exactly.
plots.
That was the whole reason we went to London.
It was, but it's been fun. I've really enjoyed the creative process. He's playing with his phone.
I'm not.
again.
My mum's calling. I'm just.
Oh, mum's calling. He's such a mummy's boy.
I think my tea's ready.
Oh. She'll be out in the back now. Simon, your tea's ready. Yeah. So although it's been a lot of hard work, I've really enjoyed the creative side of it.
I have. I
Look,
mean,
the problem is we actually do the writing of it. Should we actually be facing the camera?
Nah.
No, nobody wants to see
too
it.
late now.
Yeah. We actually do the writing process, and then we sit down and we've got the script, and we go, we do the script, and we do the intro and the outro. Then we sit down to the podcast. We have had nothing to do with the podcast. No idea.
Yeah.
We wrote down a couple of notes
Yeah.
on the various tracks,
Yeah.
but it's like the podcast is a second thought
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why there's not much reference to the intro in the actual podcast.
Yeah, because we just sit down and do the podcast,
Yeah.
and it's like almost the podcast has now become secondary
Yeah.
to the other stuff.
It's kind of the disadvantage of scripting it, I think.
It is.
Because when we did when we did the first one, Nursery Crime, we were at the zoo.
There are a lot more
There
notes.
was a lot more bits
Yeah,
about the zoo in the podcast.
that is true. But we also paid a lot more attention to
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the gibberish that we come out with is literally what we come up with on the day,
Yeah.
bar a few notes.
Yeah.
We'd like to hear if you actually like the intros and the outros. We get some feedback, but when somebody writes in and says, we really like your podcast, we go, oh great, what bit do you like? And that's the last we hear of it.
Yeah.
We really, very rarely get
Yeah.
useful feedback. So we hope you like the intros and the outros.
Hopefully.
If you just think they're annoying and you just want to go to the musical podcast, just let us know which one we'd just like some feedback.
Yeah,
so we
please.
know what we're doing right.
Yeah.
And it will mean that when we come to do whatever we're going to do next, we know what to do next.
Yes.
I mean, I'd love people out there would probably tell us what to do next. We're not listening.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
But we'd like to know how to do it, because
Yeah.
if nobody likes these intros, then there's no point in us doing them,
Yeah.
apart from the fact that we're amusing ourselves.
Yeah.
And
But if you don't like the podcast,
yeah, and just like the scripted bits.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the conversation we've had. Should we just do scripted stuff, or should we do musical podcasts? Or because
yeah,
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell which we do best, because we don't do either of them well. So I mean,
neither of us are performers.
oh my God! If you could see the outtakes this morning, I was trying to do the German professor.
Yeah.
And it was changing from German to French to Neanderthal to
Arnold
Simon.
Schwarzenegger in the end, I think.
Simon even started doing the line for me in the end, because I could not keep her. Well, as neither of us are particularly talented in
We're
any
not
way.
actors. We're writers.
Yeah,
we're not actors.
We're writers. So if anybody wants us to hire us to
Yeah.
write their latest sitcom,
Revelation Station Podcast at gmail.com.
yeah, we are available for sitcoms, bar mitzvahs, anything you want scripting. Yeah, so we like doing this. When now we've come to the end of it,
Yep. What's next?
what is next?
Mm.
We literally have 3 or 4 ideas of
Yeah.
where to go, and they all sort of bounce off in very different directions. We've got other bands we want to follow. We've got the solo stuff we were thinking of doing. We've got certain scripted comedy dramas we're thinking of
We've
doing.
got plenty of ideas.
We've got plenty of ideas. We just don't know. We've already got a listener fan base to it. I'm using the word fan quite wrong.
A listener
you listen,
base.
yeah, a tolerance base. And so we'd be interested to know what you would like us to do and what you don't want us to do.
Yeah. One thing I think we will say is we're going to take a little bit of a break from the world of Genesis.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I think I've listened to too much Genesis.
I
now.
think even as much as I love the band, I want to take a couple of months off, not
I was
having
thinking
to
years.
not having to listen to anything Genesis related.
Yeah, or even vaguely Genesis.
But for those of you who love Genesis and love the podcast, we will be back to Genesis.
Yeah, I think we
Related
really will be
stuff.
looking at the solo albums at some point.
Yeah, definitely. 100% definitely.
If not individually, then as a whole.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another fight in a pub.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we're just thinking about what to do next.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
But we'll be back.
A little holiday, yeah.
We'll take a break, but we will be back. So
How long we're off the air depends on what we plan to do next.
Yes, it does.
We've talked about a couple of things. You
Mhm.
wanted to do Marillion, for example.
Yes.
But you want to do them in sets of 6 or
Yeah,
whatever,
5.
5.
Yeah.
But then do all of those 5 and then release them,
Yeah.
which would mean quite a long gap between.
Yeah, but I'm not sold 100% on that idea, because I do like the idea of releasing something once a month as well. So my kind of idea with that was we do 5 episodes on Marillion,
Mm.
and then do them the same way we've been doing the Genesis stuff, releasing them as we do them. And then once we've done those 5, we do 5 more episodes on something else.
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
The last podcast, changing the ending slightly. I've just got to make a note of that. This is how we work. Just because I don't think
This is where how the magic happens.
I don't think it ended quite properly.
All right.
So I just want to add. It's just about 2 lines.
There's
on
people watching. Come on.
I'm trying to write as well. Amuse them. No. Don't take your trousers down. Of that. Just keep them.
They can see I'm not doing that. It's a camera.
Okay, that's just a little note from my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, just so I know where I am. So,
Made Roxy jump.
we've got some questions.
We had some
I
questions.
think with this 41 minutes now, that's more than enough of our wiggling.
Sure is.
I can't think of anything else. That we might, do you want to discuss anything else at this
I don't
point?
think there's anything else. We just
So we'll just go
just be
straight.
rest assured, listeners, that
Yeah.
we will come back to the world of Genesis before too long.
We will,
I have a feeling that we'll do the Marillion first.
unless we come up with something
Something
better.
else. Do the 5 episodes of Marillion. Then we'll do some do some episodes of Genesis related stuff after that.
Yeah,
So definitely by the end of this year, at the very latest, you will have had some more Genesis.
depending on whose fists are mightier.
Yes.
So we've got a few questions.
Oh, some questions.
Some of these we've already answered, so I'll just go down.
Okay, cool.
What's your favourite colour?
Purple.
Got to ask that one, right? Purple, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you were an animal, what kind of animal would it be? These are just quick questions that came off my head. I don't know where they came from.
A beer cat.
A beer cat.
A beer cat.
Something with beer in it. Yeah. See, the thing is, most of these we've already gone through, so I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, what's it like to work with the genius that is Gary Starr?
I don't know. I've never worked with that Gary Starr. I've only worked with you.
Right. Okay. Well, one from one of our again, I don't like to use the word
Listeners.
fans. Listeners better. Jim Dent. Hi, Jim. Thanks for all your comments. We really appreciate that. But he asked a comment. Oh, a question rather. What is your favourite and worst of the tracks that were released? Album tracks, I'm assuming he means.
That's a difficult one, really, isn't it? Because there's
It's
so
a tough one.
many.
I've already said online what I think you're going to say.
Yeah, you're wrong there.
Really?
Yeah.
But you love that track.
I don't love it. I like it.
You love it.
I think I would probably say
Mhm.
the Duke's Travels, Duke's End.
That's scary.
Because
that's what I put down.
they make me want to immediately listen to the album again.
Yeah.
Although I would also probably include 11th Earl of Mar in that as well, because that's just stunningly good.
Have you been reading my notes? Literally, I've got down, well, just Duke, the intro.
Yeah.
And I've got One for the Vine as well.
One
I
for the
love
Vine's
One
good.
for the Vine.
Yeah.
Okay, what about worst track?
Well, that's a difficult one as well, isn't it?
No.
Because there's so much on Calling All Stations that's just meh.
See, I hadn't even thought of that because I blanked most of that.
But
yeah.
Pigeons is pretty awful.
Oh, I hate Paper Laid.
I know you do. I really like Paper.
See, it was going to be that or Supper's Ready
Mm.
because I find that.
Because you like starting fights.
I do like stuff. You put me in a room with Genesis fans, I can start a fight in seconds.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true of almost any room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just walk into a room. And
I can start a fight, yeah.
But yeah, I think Pigeons is probably pretty awful. But then something like Hold On My Heart's pretty terrible as well. It's like, Pigeons.
Okay.
Pigeons. I'm going to say
Pigeons.
Pigeons.
You hate
It's
pigeons.
It's my final answer.
Right. We've got a few here.
What do I win?
Punch in the face?
Mm.
Yeah. That's what I got for you. We've got a few here from your daughters.
Yes.
What's my dog called? I think these are to me, aren't they?
Yes, to you.
Because you haven't got a dog.
I haven't got a dog.
My dog is called Roxy, and if you wonder what she looks like, she's down here asleep. You can go to our webpage, and she's one of the pictures on the webpage of the intro that Simon did. Simon asks, why is Gary so angry? Okay, why am I so angry? Because I'm at that age now where everything angers me. To be fair, that age has been after 21.
Yep.
I find a lot of things angry, and all you have to do now is put the news on, and I start foaming at the mouth and ranting at the television.
Yes.
I'm not generally angry. I just find certain things set me off very quickly. So I'm not angry.
Yeah.
Just, I think I prefer the word tetchy.
Okay. Yeah.
So tetchy. I'm going to be safe. Oh,
You tetchy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Right. Next question. I can't read my writing. It was getting a bit lower on the page here. You've got the list on your phone, haven't
Oh,
you?
yeah, but I'm recording.
Other doodads?
Bands.
Other bands. Oh yeah.
We've answered that one already.
We have.
What other bands? Although, what other bands would we like to do? I mean, Marillion's the obvious one.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to do something like the Mars Volta, something a bit more modern.
Modern.
I wouldn't want to do something like Rush, because it's been covered a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
And so is Genesis.
yeah, that's true.
But we do it brilliantly.
We do. But yeah, I'd like to do something a bit more modern as well. So something like the Mars Volta, maybe. Although maybe even something like King Crimson, which again is a band you've never heard.
No. Not really. No, heard of.
Yeah.
And I've heard a couple of tracks, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big listener.
Yeah.
My music taste, like yours, is rather eclectic,
Yes.
all over the shop.
Yeah.
So I could not name a band that I would like to do in this respect because my listening habits change hourly.
Yeah.
Although I've got some bands that I absolutely adore, Rush, for example.
Yeah.
If you ask me in 10 minutes' time, it might be another band.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really answer it because it would change by the hour.
Yeah.
One of your daughters also asks, what will we be sad after we finish this? Overjoyed is the word that comes to mind. I think I will miss the challenge
Yeah.
of doing it on time.
Mm.
Even though we have other lives, or lives,
Yeah.
it's always in the back of my mind that we're doing this at the end of the month,
Yeah.
or I have to prepare for this, or oh God, I've got to listen to another Genesis album, or Simon's going to beat me if I don't get this right, or the scripts have got to be done.
Yeah.
And there were, during the day, I'm ticking over the scripts, so I'm fine tuning bits, thinking of new jokes, assuming anybody's ever found a joke in these scripts. Something is always going on.
Yes.
Now I've got to get to a time where I'm going to have to try and be creative in some other way.
Yeah.
I may have to write stories again. Some of my stories,
Yeah.
or whatever I do.
Yeah.
But I will miss the challenge
Yes.
of doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
It's always in my mind doing these, so that is going to be a huge chunk missed.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'll miss the satisfaction of having edited something down into a coherent...
You mean editing
Piece.
me out?
Yeah, editing you out so that it just leaves me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'll miss that, because that did give me a sense of accomplishment.
I mean, you're a busy guy anyway.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss the cut and thrust of doing a podcast on time?
Yeah, I think so. It's something to work on, isn't it? When you...
To work to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, good. What's next?
It says, do you think you're people? But I'm pretty sure we are people. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the original
I
question.
guess. I think, wasn't that a question from Megan?
It was.
Do you think young people should listen to
Young
Genesis?
I can't read my writing.
Honestly.
Yes. Do you think young people should listen to Genesis?
No.
I agree
It's mine.
entirely.
You
It-
can't
the
have it,
thing
young
is-
people. Get away.
You can say Genesis is of its time,
Yeah.
and that time is gone. However, you can't. What about classical music? That's of its time, but it's still listened to by lots of people. I don't think there is a time for bands. I think
No.
there's a frame of mind.
Yeah,
For bands.
I'm being facetious. I think anybody should listen to anything they like. I don't think there should be boundaries like,
Yeah.
this is for old people, this is for young people.
I certainly never got to people and go, oh, you should listen to Genesis, or oh, you should listen to Rush.
Yeah.
Because music is like comedy, is like anything else.
Yeah,
it's
very
so objective to that person.
Yeah.
It's you can say to people, I like this, and then it's up to them to go and listen to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can push music on somebody
Yeah.
because then you're almost guaranteed to hate it.
I think the quality of the music will overcome any age or time barriers.
Definitely.
Which is why we remember a lot of classical music.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet there's a hell of a lot of classical music that nobody does now. That's just been forgotten.
Masses of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with literature. You know.
Yeah. Everybody remembers the good books. Nobody remembers the
Yeah.
10,000 other books that
Charles
day.
Dickens was the best-selling author of his time, so he's remembered.
Mm.
There are thousands of other authors that were equally as good.
His brother, Bob Dickens.
Yeah. Equally as good, but aren't remembered.
But aren't stuck in the
Yeah.
psyche of the nation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, maybe
So,
young people should listen to it if they want.
and when
It
they're
should
ready.
be available for them.
It's like a lot of music is when you're ready to
Mm.
listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we both got into it. You got into it because somebody gave you a tape.
Yeah.
I got into it because a friend of mine borrowed me the album.
Yeah.
In the days when you'd get the
Yeah,
vinyls
exactly.
and pass them amongst your friends.
Yeah.
So.
But for something like Genesis, that was my gateway drug to prog.
Mhm.
But things like Pink Floyd took me a long time to get into Pink Floyd.
Mm.
Just because it was so weird.
That's the thing with Pink Floyd.
Mm.
Like Genesis and a lot of the prog bands, they changed over time.
Mm.
But some of their early stuff is so out there.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get into.
Yeah, exactly.
So Genesis was depending on who you came in with,
Yes.
singer wise.
Yeah.
I think determined which area you were going to follow.
Yeah.
And then you would either go back or forward
Mm.
as an experiment and maybe get into that, or maybe even not.
Yeah.
I know people who listen to Genesis but won't listen to the early stuff
Mm.
purely because it's a different singer
Yeah.
and style.
But vice versa, people will listen to Peter Gabriel era and not listen to Phil
Yeah,
Collins.
yeah.
I honestly don't understand why. The quality of the music is equally as good.
Yeah, it's
in
just
my
different
opinion.
styles.
Just a different singer.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand those the arguments people will have, and they will get really, really intense about it
Yeah.
between Phil and Peter. I don't understand it. It's
No.
all good. Listen to it all. I
Yep.
listen to anything. I like soul music. I like dance music. I like prog rock. I like heavy metal. Don't so much like country music, but
I'm with you on that. I've never got
Yeah.
country music. It's not.
But-
It's not. And jazz,
Yeah.
as I said earlier.
Yeah.
There's some jazz. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's some jazz which is great.
Yeah.
But freeform stuff leaves me
Yeah.
a bit cold.
but yeah. So we're getting close to an hour.
Right. So how to round up?
So I'm going to round up with a question from Ryan on Facebook. Hi
Okay.
Ryan, thanks for all your comments.
Thank you
as
very
well.
much.
Thanks to everybody who comments on our posts.
Oh, you've no idea how much we appreciate
We
the
do.
Facebook posts and
Yeah.
the stuff on our webpage and emails that we do get. We really
Absolutely.
do appreciate it. It's so nice to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear from you the fact that we are getting people
Listen.
all over the world.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, we thought we'd be with Genesis quite colloquial,
Yeah. I mean,
but we've not. We've got listeners in literally every corner of the world.
exactly. I mean, that's.
Can you have a corners in the sphere?
No.
Right.
But we've got. I expected 2 people want to listen to this.
I was surprised, and that was going to be us.
Yeah.
So
and that's it.
Yeah, I literally, when you said we're going to do this, I thought, yeah, all right, we'll do it, but nobody's ever going to want to listen to this. Why would they want to listen to
Exactly.
this? But we have got a fair few listeners,
Yeah.
and it's always great when we hear from you. We really do appreciate it, and
Yeah.
it's insightful.
It is.
Even if it's
So-
just stupid comments on the Facebook,
Yes.
we like them.
So the question from Ryan on Facebook:
Oh yeah.
Who done it?
Well, it's obviously the butler, isn't it?
So
It's only the butler.
it's got to be.
It's always the butler.
So thanks for that, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks. I hope that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want anything more insightful or clever, you probably should have asked the question of somebody else.
That's the
Certainly
best
not
you're going to
us.
get out of us.
Much, yeah. So how to round this up? I mean, we kind of like with our podcast. We came into this with a few quickly jotted ideas.
Mhm.
No obvious way of going through this
No.
or ending it.
No.
Is there anything you'd like to ask me that you haven't already asked me? Or
Why did you agree to do this podcast in the end?
again, you just kept asking. You
Persistence.
literally, it was just you wore me down.
Oh, excellent.
It wasn't. I never really wanted to do it. I'm still not entirely sure I want to do it.
Yeah.
But I know that if I don't do it with you, you just won't shut up.
Hmm.
So it's
You'll never be able to enjoy a Wednesday in the pub again.
No. So that was it. That's the only reason I've done this. Just shut you up. But I have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if you want to do any more, I'll quite happily do some more.
Do you have a favourite episode we did?
Podcast or script-wise?
Script-wise, I would say.
I think I like the boxing one.
Yes, that was a good one.
I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And I think my performance was outstanding.
Yeah.
Purely because, I bought a lot to that because I've been punched in the face a lot. So I felt the pain in that one.
Yes.
But no, I've enjoyed a lot of the scripts we've done. Maybe not so our performances.
Yes.
But I think that one went pretty well.
Yeah.
I think it worked pretty well. And I think our performances weren't that bad. So, yeah, that one I'd say. You?
I think I really liked the Jaws.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought that was really well done. I liked that one. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
None of the scripts have done.
But
Because when we've done these, sorry to interrupt, but you should be used to this because
I
I
am
literally always interrupt you. When we've started looking at these scripts and we've sat down in the pub and we've gone, oh, this script should go such a place.
Yeah.
When we've actually started writing it, it's gone somewhere else entirely. The germ that we come up with in the pub, even though sometimes we'll write down, they've got a whole story and go, yeah, that's where it's going to start, that's where it's going to finish, that's what happened. When we come to actually reading the script, you go, that's not what we decided at all. But
yeah,
so they kind of have taken a life of their own.
yeah. I think
So why did you like the Jaws one particularly?
it made me laugh that splicing the bits of the dialogue from Jaws into the
Right.
responses just made me laugh.
That one and the MasterChef one were
Yes.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Especially the MasterChef one. I literally downloaded. Okay, I didn't download. I streamed. Good catch.
I got out of that.
Yeah, I streamed a whole series of MasterChef and then sat down, cut out clips, and then wove a story around
the
it.
clips,
I basically knew what the story was going to do. I had no idea how it was going to pan out.
Yeah.
So it's literally the guys on MasterChef wrote that episode for me.
We're not paying them though. There's not
No,
any credit. No credit.
No. We haven't got anything to pay after we paid tax on our
30 cents.
30 cents tax. I can't believe you got to pay tax on buying me a coffee. God, who knew coffee was so expensive? Yeah, so it's yeah. I'm glad you like that one.
Yeah, I did like that one.
Yeah.
Made me laugh.
Again, it was another one where we sat down. Simon came up with the idea for doing the Jaws
Mm-hmm.
episode. It was going to be a Jaws or Jaws-like episode.
Yes.
And we'd already done the MasterChef one, so I thought, we can just cut some lines out of there. It'd be funny to put some lines in. And then we cut more and more lines out of the film and thought you could just string these together to make a story work.
Yeah.
And some of them were just puns on the lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another one that was... Those two where you got to cut them together and make a script, those were probably the most stressful ones to write because you had to make the script conform to the bits of dialogue that you had.
Yeah.
And so it became more tricky to write them. But
Yes.
I think they worked much better, especially the MasterChef one.
Yeah.
That worked so much better than I thought it was going to work.
Yeah.
When I came up with that idea, I didn't imagine using so many clips.
Yeah.
And yet when I started cutting them, there were some really great clips which I used, which we could have used in... I did write them, but they were going to be quite rude.
Yeah.
Because they keep referring to balls and things on the show, but like dough balls and things.
Yeah.
And I thought... And I thought, no, someone won't let me use this.
No,
'Cause
I do try to keep it family friendly.
It does. I write some lines that are not family friendly, and Simon comes in and goes, "No, not doing that. Not doing that. No, you cannot
that's
refer to that. No more willy gags."
Yeah.
So yeah. So he keeps me under control.
Yeah.
Because although we both write the scripts, I write the dirty bits, and Simon takes them out because I have
cleans them up.
or cleans them up because I have a much smuttier mind than Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have we enjoyed doing this overall?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Would we do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just now have to fight over what to do next.
Yeah. So
So-
watch this space.
Yeah, so watch this space. So all that's left is to say thank you so much for listening to us.
And watching, if you've been watching,
Yeah,
this is probably going to be a lot longer to watch than it is to listen to.
because it will cut a lot out. But really, to all of those of you out there who've listened to us, are still listening to us, or have listened all the way through, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support, and we really appreciate that somebody wanted to listen to us.
Yeah, 100%. That's the main thing, I think. Just knowing somebody out there has listened to it and enjoyed it. That makes my day every time
Now-
somebody does that.
we didn't say they'd enjoyed it. We just said they
Listen
listened
to it. Yeah.
But the fact that so many of you come back again and again, and we know you do, to download and listen to these things, thank you so much. We really appreciate it from the bottom of our black and
Yes.
festering hearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are we going to go next with the podcast story?
Well-
Where's it going to go? We've ended up on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we have. See, we kind of know. Again, we've already got ideas for where to take the characters.
Yeah.
We just don't know what we're going to do with them. Whether they're going to be a scripted story or whether it is going to be a music podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of like your input on this as to what you prefer us to do. I mean,
Yeah.
but then again, we may not listen to you anyway.
Yeah.
It depends how drunk we get on Wednesday in the pub.
Yeah.
And who wins the arm wrestling contest and who wins the naked oiled wrestling
Yeah.
contest. It
That-
happens, you know it happens.
That'll be you by default because I just won't turn up.
You know me, I love any excuse to get naked
And oil.
and oil. As to where it ends up, and we'll figure out where we're going from here.
Yeah.
But we would like to hear your input.
Yeah. But keep subscribed to the podcast feed.
Yeah,
Because whatever we do,
it'll be on there.
it'll be on there. If it's a different band, it might end up being on a completely different feed. But I will put some sort of announcement.
Here's a
on
last
it.
question then.
Okay, go on then.
Why the bloody hell did you choose the name Revelation Station? Because every time you actually Google it, it comes up with religious podcasts.
Oh man, that was stupid.
That
Honestly,
was such a stupid idea.
the one thing I would change would be the name of the podcast.
Thing is, we had this argument before we did this.
We did.
And I said, why do you want to use that name? And he was absolutely adamant that that's the name he wanted to go with.
Yeah.
And then after we did it and the first one went out and I was Googling it, I went, Simon.
yeah.
So-
that was the one thing I would change.
It's a bit late now, though.
It's a bit too
I've done
late
the
now.
logo and everything.
You have, but that's the one thing I'd change. If we do a, for example, Marillion podcast, it will be something a bit more easy to find on Google.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
are we still going to go under the Revolution Station podcast heading? Then?
It will still be on the same website.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So-
you'll still be able to find us should you want.
Yes.
But,
And like I say, any future episodes of a different band, I will put some sort of first episode on the Genesis feed so that you know it's there. But it'll go. The whole thing will go onto its own feed.
yeah. Whatever we
To keep
decide.
them separate.
Yeah.
Because I know some people like Genesis and they don't like Marillion, or they don't like King Crimson or Pink Floyd or whatever we do next.
Yeah. So we know we're going to lose some people,
Yeah.
if not everybody.
But there
depending
will
what we
be
do.
Genesis related hijinks in the future.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
If you call it hijinks.
So anyway, all those to say is thank
That's
you
it.
for listening.
Thanks for listening, and take care, and keep an ear out for the episodes when they come.
Bye.
Bye.